take you to international news now. The death toll from the Haiti earthquake has reached 2,200, while the Caribbean nation is still recovering from the devastating earthquake from 2010 that killed more than 200,000 people. Now, South African Humanitarian organization Al-Imdaad Foundation has arrived in Cayes, where they hope to begin emergency relief and search and rescue operations as well. Let's get you an update on that situation. Qari Ziyaad Patel is a trustee of the foundation, and he joins us now from the epicenter of the earthquake. In fact, it's 2 in the morning where you are in Haiti, Mr. Patel. It's great to have you with us on the show. How long have you been there? What have you seen so far?
Yes, so we have been here for the last 48 hours. Yes, the devastation is something which is paramount, which is something somebody cannot even explain. I don't have the proper words to tell you the devastation which we have seen. You know what? It's sad because first and foremost, the people are very impoverished. This is a very impoverished part of the globe. You know, the area, the infrastructure is very, very delicate. And now having a second large earthquake in the span of just 10 years is something which has really set back the Haitian people very, very, very far. And I don't know how they're going to actually come out of this. So when we look at devastation, it's something which we cannot even explain to you. It's so vast and so wide.
And of course, the country is still, as I said in the introduction, still trying to recover, still trying to rebuild from the 2010 earthquake.
Undoubtedly, they haven't even come out of that. You know, there is no way they've reeled out of the 2010 earthquake. And then to come out and have another earthquake 10 years later. Well, 2 years ago, there was another earthquake, but it was not that significant. But this one, 7.4 on the Richter scale, it's quite large. The amount of areas that have been affected is also quite significant. So it's just a lot of destruction, and we pray and we hope that they can make some headway after this earthquake.
So 2,200 people, we're told, having died in this earthquake. I mean, I hazard to say, but one would imagine that it's much lower than what the actual number would be in reality.
Undoubtedly, I think that's a very conservative figure. It's an absolutely conservative figure. Right now, there are still families that are still trying to and have that aspiration and hope of finding some loved one under that rubble. Daily, people are still searching through the rubble, and our teams also have tried to assist and see whether we can help them find perhaps maybe a survivor. We don't know, but people are still quite hopeful. And yes, certain rescue operations are still carrying on. But as the time ticks away, that becomes a bit more bleak, sadly.
Yeah. In terms of the kind of relief your foundation is trying to provide there, tell us more about that.
So yes, we're in the emergency relief phase right now. We are providing very, very basic necessities. You know, basic necessities is actually the norm. It's right now what people really need. Emergency food, clean water, tarpaulins, shelter. And that's exactly what we are providing in some of the areas which have been affected. You know, what really brings a sadness to the eye and sadness to the heart is when we see so many hundreds, literally hundreds of families that have been displaced, that are now having to stay out in the bare elements of nature, and trying to get to the evenings, etc. It's quite hot. Yes, the weather is not in our favor. There has been some rain as well in the vicinity. And I think everything is against us right now. And we are trying our level best just to administer basic humanitarian emergency relief aid for the victims of this disaster. Yes, the Al-Imdaad Foundation has been providing, and we still have a long way still to go in helping and assisting these victims of this earthquake.
I mean, are you seeing in your experience in this field that perhaps there's not as big a response to this earthquake in Haiti, as in we're not seeing more relief of the kind of nature that you're trying to provide from the rest of the world?
Undoubtedly. Actually, I was quite taken aback. I was quite saddened to see there hasn't been that kind of an international response as we would see in other disasters. Why? I don't know. Is Haiti too far away, or is it a forgotten nation? What is it? God alone only knows. But yes, we as South Africans, we as the Al-Imdaad Foundation and the International Humanitarian Organization, we could not just sit back and do nothing. We had to do something. We had to rise up to the occasion once more. 2010 we responded. 2018 we responded. And yes, now again in 2021 we had to respond to try and help and assist the people wherever we can. And I still make a humble appeal to the international humanitarian organizations out there. It's still not too late. Let's come through. Let's help. Let's rally. Is it perhaps because of the COVID-19 crisis, which has now kind of set organizations back? Is it because resources have become restrained or constrained? What is it? I really don't know. But whatever it may be, let's try, in whatever capacity it may be, let's try and assist in whatever way we can to help and assist these people right now.
Yeah, all reports are saying that aid is trickling in since Saturday's 7.2 magnitude earthquake hit Haiti. In terms of COVID-19, you mentioned that just a bit earlier as perhaps a reason for aid not coming in as fast as it perhaps usually would. How is it hampering or at least changing the kind of work that you do?
I think we would have got here much more quicker if it was not for COVID-19 protocol. It took us 3 days of flying just to get here out to Haiti. So that tells you it's right now a logistical challenge, for organizations to get here to the earthquake zone. 3 days of extreme traveling and going through numerous airports, with vaccine verification, etc. So perhaps that could also be one of the reasons why organizations are not rallying up to come out and assist and help. So COVID-19 has put a spin into the works for humanitarian organizations, making it quite difficult for humanitarian organizations. The world has changed. Undoubtedly, the world has changed. And yes, the world has also changed for international humanitarian organizations and as to how we operate. For us, time is of the essence. The need for speed is always going to be there. But yes, COVID-19 is hampering that for many of the international humanitarian organizations and the humanitarian fraternity as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for the incredible work that you are doing there, and we wish you all the best as you continue with that basic humanitarian emergency relief being provided there in Haiti. That's Qari Ziyaad Patel with Al-Imdaad Foundation. He's a trustee there, in fact, joining us from Cayes in Haiti. It's 2 in the morning as we speak to him. Thanks very much indeed.